I had one such experience with a registered letter. I had one problem that was persisting for 2-3 years, and when I asked Swami repeatedly about it, he will just pass it away, he will just joke about it, or he won't respond to it. One day somebody, one of my seniors, he told me, hey Subramaniam, you are not serious about it, that's why Swami is also not serious about it. Send a registered letter, take it from me that Swami is telling you. Send a registered letter tomorrow morning. This happened in the one evening. Tomorrow morning you send a registered letter to Swami, see what happens. So accepting his word as Swami's prompting, next morning I wrote a letter, I sent it. I personally went to the post office in Kadagodi, I was in Brindavan that time. I sent it, and it was known that if you send the letter by 9 o'clock, it will reach by first post and Swami will read it by about 10:30, and it was quite likely that Swami will respond in the evening when we go inside Trai. When I was giving the letter, see that's a monkey mind. I knew this problem was persisting, I knew for some reason Swami is not solving it. In fact, it took another 2.5 years for it to get solved. So when I was giving the letter, when the clerk was filling up the receipt, I prayed, Swami, I very sincerely prayed, Swami, it doesn't matter if you don't respond to the prayer. If my prayer is not answered, but at least respond to this letter. Give me a response, clear response that you have read this letter. That's a monkey mind, my mind worked like that and I prayed like that. Evening came, we were sitting inside Trai, and Swami's way of handling things is, in trying to answer one prayer or in trying to fulfill one event, he may tie up others. That means by one single gesture, he may satisfy 2-3 people. So what happened was like this. There is one devotee, she is a lady who was the director of collegiate education of Karnataka. She had a habit of coming in the evening somehow, finish her office work by 5 o'clock, rush to Trai by about 5:30 from Bangalore city. That day she was late, and she was so close to Swami, so free with Swami, that she was sort of sharing all her problems. Swami, what can I do? There are a lot of letters to be answered, even though I have 2 secretaries, they were very slow and I couldn't finish. And Swami interrupted her. What? You have 2 secretaries. Why do you need even 1 secretary? I don't have even 1 secretary. Why does somebody require secretary? Because they have secrets, they need a secretary. He made a joke like that. Then he said, I don't have a single secretary, yet I get about 400 letters every day. I read all of them and I know what is there. Subramaniam, see how we linked 2 events. He called, I was sitting right at the back, I stood up. It was such a beautiful thing. He answered my prayer in linking with this incident, he answered my prayer. He said, what are you? Swami, lecturer. Which subject? Mathematics. Oh, ladies subject. That was his standard joke. Then he said, what have you written you sent a registered letter today? Yes, Swami. In that I wrote just 4 sentences about myself and about my father who was working honorably, and my problem, the next 2 lines, and last lines, not even just ending, not asking Swami to solve the problem. I didn't ask. So those 4 sentences I repeated. My only response was, yes Swami, yes Swami, yes Swami. That's all. He just virtually read out those 4 sentences. So that was a way of communicating with Swami, and how the register letter worked for me.